In the words of Bill O'Reilly, F it, we'll do it live. Welcome to the POPlitics Live. I am Alex Clark. Subscribe, Real Alex Clark on YouTube. This is Pop Culture Without the Propaganda, and we're doing it live, baby. The top stories of the week, your interactions, your thoughts, my thoughts, and none of it without leftist propaganda BS. We love to see it. You can also subscribe if you prefer to listen. If you can't watch live, you can do that. POPlitics, anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple. You can also watch these lives later. They will always be on the live tab on YouTube. Okay, Lacey, Flora, we've got Esther in here, Ginny, Marla, Megan, Heather Shea, Shadow Knight Gladstay. That doesn't sound like a real name. Paige, MJ Gates, Jody. Welcome to POPlitics Live. We have a lot going on today. Number one, we're going to talk about, I do have my Taylor Swift merch on. Can we see it? I have my Taylor Swift merch on because I did go see Taylor Swift in LA SoFi Stadium on Monday night. I want to tell you just a little bit. I know like most of you don't care about Taylor, which shame on you, but I want to give you at least a tidbit of my experience with that. So yes, we're going to talk about that. And then on the show today, we have a lot of stories. Neo, the R&B singer, rapper, he apologized for comments that he made in an interview on parenting and gender ideology. And then he took it all back. And then he took that back. He apologized and then took back the apology. And I have a lot of things to talk about with that, some speculations. It's just, that's really juicy. We also have the identity of the lizard lady. Plain lady, we know who you are. We know what you do for work. We know how old you are. And that's very exciting. We've been waiting for a long time for that. Abnormally long for the internet, I would say, to not know the identity of someone in a viral video. So that's very sus. Campbell soup. Now, all my team, when I said, I want to talk about Campbell soup today, everybody was like, why, Alex? It's like the bane of my existence every time I try to talk about like clean living, organic, whatever. But I won't spend too much time on it, but it is juicy because they just bought one of our favorite organic clean brands. And so it's the end of that as we know it. So I just want to touch on another big food scandal briefly. We're also going to be discussing today, Sydney Sweeney did a huge Variety interview talking about her family's alleged conservativeness, talking about motherhood, Euphoria. It was a very good interview. We'll look at the pictures. We'll discuss some of the key points on that interview that I want to talk about, but you should read it yourself because it's, those interviews are very long. They're in depth. They're juicy. And I can't sit here. I don't have 2 hours. I have 1 hour. Lizzo's situation has gotten worse. So I will also give you an update from last week. Again, these lives are always available. So welcome to POPlitics Live, Pop Culture Without the Propaganda. If you missed last week, go back, watch that at any time, and then you'll be able to watch today's at any time. So POPlitics Live, a couple more people, Crystal, Corinne, Kristen, Tara. Welcome to POPlitics Live, Melissa, Virginia, Kelsey. All right, so went to go see Taylor this weekend in LA. First of all, I've never been to SoFi Stadium. I was anticipating everything that you expect for LA, right? Dilapidated stadium, dirty, crime, disgusting, like probably the worst stadium I've ever been to. Guys, it was incredible. Incredible. I did not feel like I was in LA. That was like the one pocket of LA that didn't feel like LA was SoFi Stadium. It was unbelievably clean. I don't know what year it was built. Somebody could tell me, but I felt like the stadium was built yesterday. That's how clean it was. The food, first of all, obviously, like there's no seed oil free options, but the food was very good for stadium food. Like usually you go to sporting events, you go to concerts, and the food is disgusting. It's like warmed up in a microwave. The fries are soggy, gross. This food was good. The fries still had like the potato skins on them. I mean, it was just very impressive, very impressive. I got a hot dog. There's a very controversial picture of me holding the hot dog, apparently. And I will tell you why. Somebody asked me today in my DMs, why were you holding the hot dog glass like that? And I will explain this. I had a death grip on the hot dog because, and this is a big thing, this is a big controversy because House and Habit reposted the photo. So if you don't follow House and Habit, then you don't understand she's millions and millions and millions of followers. She's one of the most engaged with accounts on the entire platform of Instagram. So she reposts my picture of me holding my hot dog out at the Taylor Swift concert, and everybody's making fun of me because I'm holding it like this. I'm not going to let it go. I was doing that because I only like plain hot dogs. I don't like ketchup. I don't like anything on it. And so It just slips right out. That's what she said. The hot dog just slips right out. You got to watch that sucker. And so I had to have a death grip on it while I was holding it out in front of me so I didn't lose my dog. Hold the dogs in. The dogs be barking. So that's what that was about. But the concert was phenomenal. Yes, I did see Taylor already on this tour. I saw her opening night, Glendale. But I'm really glad that I got to have that in contrast to last Monday night, because opening night of a Taylor tour is everybody's in the dark, literally and figuratively, because we have no idea what's going on. Nobody knows what the set list is. Nobody has seen any costumes. Nobody's seen any nobody's seen any like speeches or dances, whatever. So we're all sitting there like on the edge of our seat, basically speechless. And the crowd just isn't as interactive. I think they're excited, but everybody's like so in shock and just like beside ourselves that we don't really talk that much. It's not as loud of a crowd opening night. And so compared to SoFi Stadium, I mean, last night, not my show, but last night, she had the longest standing ovation of the tour. It was like over 7 minutes. It was an almost 8-minute long standing ovation. So that's how crazy the crowd is and electrifying. So it was just a totally different experience. But I'm going to make it a goal. I want to always try to go to her opening nights for her tours, because it's so exciting to not know what's coming next. And so I want to do that again. Sarah, hello. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're subscribing. We're thriving. We might be crying later. Who's to say? I'm always crying. So as soon as I get off this, I'll probably start crying. So subscribe, thrive, Real Alex Clark on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast version, POPlitics, the podcast. So here's the situation, too. I also want to tell you, because I forgot to bring this up last week, America Fest is available. Tickets are finally available. America Fest is the biggest. We have a lot of big events, but it is the biggest 10,000 plus people at this. It's a huge conservative conference, 1920. Hold on, I can't count. The 18th. 16th through 19th. I can't see this far away on the screens. So it's like 4 days long. And this really is, all of our events, I say, are like conservative Coachella, but this literally is conservative Coachella, because America Fest, it's during the day, all of the biggest conservative speakers in the movement. And then at night, it's huge concerts. So it truly is like a Coachella, and you want to be there. This is also our one event that is family friendly. So this is the entire family can go. You can bring your kids, and then you have an escape from the winter. In the dead middle of winter there in December, you get to come to Phoenix, Arizona, venture up 20 minutes north to Scottsdale. That's where I live, which is one of the biggest tourist destinations in America right now. You can go hang out there, have a reprieve from the cold winter weather, see your favorite conservative speakers. Who's to say? So no names have been announced yet. Who's to say who's going to be there? I mean, we're like in the middle of an election going on. You have Tucker Carlson scandals. So I don't know. Names are yet to be announced, but here's the good news. Here's what I'm going to tell you. From now until Labor Day only, this is the lowest price that tickets will be. General admission for adults. So if you are like, I think it's 26 or older, I believe, general admission for adults is only $200. Remember, now you're like, $200? It's 4 days long, and there's concerts at night. Okay, so it's like a massive festival, conservative festival. That's why it's that expensive. But $200 is an amazing deal for those days. Now, that is only through Labor Day, amfest.com. Also, if you are a student, so if you are enrolled in school or you're like under 26, I believe the website will say, so don't hold me to that, don't sue me, please. If you are a student, tickets until Labor Day only, $50. All right, amfest.com. I do have a discount code to go on top of that. The discount code is POPlitics, amfest.com, POPlitics. There you go. All right, let's get started, please. Let's get started. Yes, ready, Lizette, go. Subscribing, thriving, screaming, and throwing up. Somebody made fun of me once. They're like, you're so immature. Why are you saying that you're crying and screaming and throwing up? I'm like, I'm so sorry that you're not fun. I'm so sorry. Anyone who's fun is screaming, crying, and throwing up. And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. Number one, let's talk about Ne-Yo. This was shocking to see for 6th grade Alex, 7th grade Alex. I believe my 7th grade boyfriend, I was 13 years old, our song was When You're Mad by Ne-Yo. So it's really come full circle that now I'm talking about Ne-Yo, and he came out against gender ideology and basically the lack of parents parenting in 2023. Where are the parents? I think a lot of us have been asking that question. And so he did an interview with this I don't know, some outlet I've never heard of. But he did an interview in the podcast host. She seemed really based too. You'll see in this clip. But clip one I want to play for you. He just talks about the state of America. So let's go ahead and watch Neo clip number 1 of this interview that he later apologized for.
I have no issue with the LBG. I have no problem with with nobody.
Right.
Love who you love, do what you do.
Exactly.
I just personally come from an era where a man was a man and a woman was a woman, and it wasn't but 2 genders, and that's just how I rocked.
Me
now,
too.
You could identify as a goldfish if you feel like.
Right. I agree.
Care. That ain't my business. It becomes my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not finna call you a goldfish, but you want to be a goldfish, you go be a goldfish. It's all
Amen.
good. I mean,
well said.
It's just, we live in a weird time, man. We do. We live in a time where a person will have a mental breakdown in front of their camera.
Right.
Wait, let me white balance.
That's crazy, right?
What the hell is that? Like, if you are of sound mind enough to find the light,
right?
and then break down.
No lies told. I absolutely love that. And I've been saying the same thing. It's like, how is everybody at the same time suddenly mentally ill? You're not. You're not. We keep saying, like, mental illness is an epidemic. I mean, I think to some of the people, like there was this viral video Libs of TikTok posted of some woman who went to Taylor Swift and then she had like an air purifier and 10 masks on and all this. It's like, if you are still doing that, if you're still living like we're in a pandemic 3 years later, like you might be mentally ill. But most of the people who say they are LARPing because they want attention, and it's like, oh, I can belong to something. I can say I'm mentally ill, and I can get some victim points, which is the current social currency that everybody is using. So that was the first part of the interview that I just liked, and it was the very beginning. And then this is what really pissed people off. So Neo starts talking about how parents really need to step it up. Where are the parents? And then he goes into how he disagrees with children being able to transition. Let's play clip number 2 of Neo.
I have no issue with the LB. I feel like parents have almost forgotten what the role of a parent is.
Amen.
It's like, okay,
lost control.
If your little boy comes to you and says, "Daddy, I want to be a girl," and you just let him rock with that, you just let.
Right.
He's 5.
Right. And where did he get that from?
If you let this 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, he's going to do that.
Exactly.
Like, when did it become a good idea to let a 5-year-old, let a 6-year-old, let a 12-year-old make a life-changing decision for themselves?
Right.
When did that happen?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. I don't get that.
And to medicate these young kids that are 5, 6, growing up and knowing that it affects their brain, it affects their organs, it makes them sick, but they're not allowed to do drugs, they're not allowed to do alcohol.
Right.
We can medicate them.
He can't drive a car yet, but he can decide his sex.
Right. Oh, right.
As you can probably imagine, that clip and this entire interview went mega viral, and people were demanding that he apologize. And so all of the sudden, he does. Neo posts this tweet, if you want to pull up the tweet, where he says, "I'd like to express my deepest apologies." Now, this tweet has over 11 million views now. It says, "After much reflection, I'd like to express my deepest apologies to anyone that I may have hurt with my comments on parenting and gender identity. I've always been an advocate for love and inclusivity in the LGBTQI+ community." Another letter. There's another letter added. Every time I read another statement with this stupid acronym, there's another letter every day. So he says, "I understand how my comments could have been interpreted as insensitive and offensive. Gender identity is nuanced, and I can honestly admit that I plan to better educate myself on the topic so I can approach future conversations with more empathy. At the end of the day, I lead with love and support everyone's freedom of expression in pursuit of happiness." This is where the conservatives and basically anyone who is of sound mind, who doesn't think that it's acceptable for children to be able to mutilate their own genitals, started chiming in on Twitter. And that's where the dog pile really started happening. People basically accused him of being a cuck. People said, "This is so pathetic. You're a coward. Don't apologize. Never apologize to the woke mob. Never bend a knee to the woke mob. It's never going to end well for you. They're never going to accept you. Once you have offended them, they're they're never going to accept you back into their good graces, right? They have no idea what the word forgiveness or second chances means. So don't you dare apologize. Once he started getting an onslaught, 10 times more the attention and engagement on this tweet from the conservative side versus when people were just mad about the interview in the first place, he then releases a reel on Instagram, completely backing down from this tweet. Let's watch this reel because this is where it just gets elevated to an entirely new level.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls, okay? That's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question, and I answered the damn question, okay? I have no beef with the LGBTQIA plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank, and that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neo no more, all right? And I got no problem with that. I'm a hustler, all right? I'll figure it out. I got kids to raise, and I'm going to do that regardless. So with that being said, y'all have a good day. I love everybody. Live how you want to live, love how you want to love, but your opinion is yours. Speak your opinion as much as you damn well feel like it. Because as I said, they're not important, they're not special. Everybody got one, and you're entitled to it. I'm entitled to mine, all right? Y'all feel how y'all want to feel. Have a great day. It's Neo. Peace and love.
Based Neo. As you can imagine, the left saw this and they were furious. They were furious. They were like, how dare you go against us? We own you. We own Hollywood. We own celebrities, entertainment, and you are dead to us. A lot of them were saying, oh, this entire thing, like this is what the new thing is that celebrities are doing now. If they speak out against transing kids, that means they are on the like, I don't know, on the path of a career revival. Like they said that if a celebrity speaks out about transing kids, that their goal is just to revive their career because it gets you so much attention. And they said this interview that he did would never have gotten any write-ups. Nobody would have cared about Neo if he wouldn't have brought up LGBTQ kids. So that's what they're saying to like explain away in their mind. They're like, well, this is the only way we can rationalize how anyone would ever be against this. So that's what they're saying. Now, in the chat, I'm going to read some of your comments on this. So go off if you want me to read your comment here. And make sure you're liking this video, subscribing. Taya says it was his publicist. Meaning, so she's saying like his publicist went out and made this statement and just like what he said, well, I didn't know that they were going to do that. But Corinne says, does a publicist post an apology without their client's permission? And this is the point that I wanted to bring up. So my conspiracy theory on this is that Neo did okay his publicist to apologize on his behalf on Twitter. And then when he saw how that pissed off even more people because the conservatives started to speak up and call him a coward and ask him if his balls were removed, then he decided to say, oh, just kidding, like my publicist posted that and I didn't approve of it. But I don't know how that's possible because I work in this industry. I work with people that have things like publicists, whatever. I mean, Charlie Kirk is my boss. I know that every single thing that is posted, like as far as a statement goes, your publicist is running it by you because that's what they're paid to do. And they're like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm advising you to say, like, am I good to post this? Like, the celebrity has to approve it. So him being like, well, my publicist just like had my Twitter password and posted something, I just find that very hard to believe that he was unaware. Now, I'm not saying like I disagree with what he's saying. I think what he's saying is great. But I do think that Neo backed down. He got scared at first. And then when the blowback was even worse, he's like, oh, maybe it's a better career move for me to go ahead and like stand with these comments. Nina agrees with me. Ashley says, him saying do what you want to do with your own kids is contradictory to what he believes. It sounds like he is just starting to really think through this subject for the first time. Yeah, I think he's probably, I would say, I don't even know, I wouldn't even say that he's conservative. You know, people want to be like, they're conservative. I just think like people just, they become awake, right? They go from being woke to awake. And maybe he never was woke. I think that's like a new thing too, is like you have to remember that liberalism and leftism are two different things. And I'm sure that Leo, he was either just a totally like apathetic voter. He didn't have an opinion one way or the other, or he's a classical lib who is now seeing the left take over liberalism and being like, whoa, this is like super extremist. And that's something that's happening with a lot of liberals is they see the far left taking over and they're like, dude, I never signed up for this. Like, I don't agree with this stuff. Like, I actually do believe in things like free speech and stuff like that. So that's where the left and liberals differ. But I think we did it. Like, this is kind of like a Bud Light type of thing where we spoke up and we were louder. And for the first time in history, conservatives are learning how to be louder than the left, and we're winning battles. We won Bud Light. We're winning with Neo. Like, we were louder. And so he saw it and he probably thought twice about what he was saying. And yeah, the fact that he's like, you know, do whatever you want with your kids. Like, that's like a crutch that people do when you're really new to the territory of offending people. You know, he should have said like, do whatever you want if you're an adult. But when it comes to kids, you don't get to do whatever you want. You don't get to impose those extremist views, body mutilation on an underage minor. That's where I draw the line. So that's what he should have said. And maybe he'll, you know, come out with more on this. I'm sure he's going to get invited on like 100 conservative news outlets and shows and things like that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if like we get a Candace Owens interview or something like that, you know, in the next 2 weeks. That's usually what happens with this kind of stuff. Julie agrees with me, and Flora says it's possible his team threatened to drop him if he declined to apologize. Yeah, that's certainly true. Liz says he has a brain. Hopefully he is waking up. MB, she says, yes, made it to live. Welcome. Crystal says she agrees with Ashley. Savannah says, I think he just wanted to apologize for hurting people's feelings, not for his thoughts. I think the publicist just ran with it and went too far. I mean, yeah, possible. So that's the Neo story. It's very interesting. And, you know, if you're on Instagram, you should go and you should like the reel and comment and support and tell him that he's right and tell him that you never should apologize to the woke mob because it's never going to end well for you. Second thing, by the way, make sure as you're coming on the live, you're liking the video, you're subscribed to Real Alex Clark on YouTube so that you don't miss notifications and you can turn those bells on so you know when we go live every week. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. So I'll pause and say this. Last week's POPlitics Live, the first one ever in history, did so well, like beyond my wildest expectations. I was very nervous that nobody was going to care. So I was like, okay, everyone seemed to really like it. So I wanted to come back and do it again. I'm going to do it for a few weeks and we're going to see how it goes. If like everybody falls off and nobody shows up anymore, then I'm not going to keep doing it. But if you guys like it keeps growing and people really like it and everybody's coming to watch it live and all of that kind of stuff and trickling in after, and it looks like it's something you guys enjoy, then I'm happy to keep doing it because it was actually so fun. Like I had such a high after doing it last week and I was sad that it was over. And then I've been like excited the whole last week to come back and do this again and like chat with you because it's actually way more fun than doing the original version of POPlitics, which was like a taped version because I do it by myself and I have no one to talk to while I'm doing it. Alexa says, I'm obsessed with this show live. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ready, Lisette, go. Yay, love the lives. Loren says, I love the live shows. So much fun. And Olivia says, I love the live snack in a show. Yes. Also, I'm drinking a Modern Market like blood orange lemonade today. And also, these are not sponsored. So if you're a company that has a drink that you'd like to sponsor, yes, I did ask for my squeezed juices, but I haven't gotten those yet. I think you guys have bought out all of squeezed juice. So they're like out of stock or something. So it's taking them a minute to send me a new shipment. But yes, grab a snack, have a drink. Like, this should be, like, somebody told me last week, like, oh, I couldn't watch it live, but I put it on, like, that later that night, and I watched in the bath. Like, don't electrocute yourself and have a brave little toaster moment, but I love that. I love that. This should be like a, girlies gathering together moment to, like, chit-chat it up. All right. Story number 2, Plain Lady is identified. Guys, we freaking did it. Finally, I know this. It's like been living in the back of my mind for so many weeks. Who is this woman? I want to know everything about her. And it's weird because when it very, very, very first happened, I remember on the POPlitics page, I feel like in the comments, somebody said, like, I've heard rumors that she's this woman that lives in Dallas. And I remember, like, POPlitics account replied back, was like, oh my gosh, no way. Like, is this confirmed? Because we just wanted any information that we could get on this woman because it was just such a bizarre viral video. And that whoever that was, now I don't remember, but they were right. So one of you was right. You knew who she was, and that's very impressive. I like having cute conservatives out there in the wild, spying with your little cinnamon roll hats on. And it's like you see one in the wild, and you're like, I know what you're up to. Tiffany Gomas is Lizard Lady's name, the plain woman. She lives a luxury life, according to Daily Mail. She's a marketing exec. She went viral for her plane outburst on American Airlines, and she lives in a $1.6 million home in Lakewood, Texas. A Dallas suburb, I guess. I don't know much about Lakewood. I was just in Dallas over the weekend. I wish I would have asked about this. I should have asked my friends about it while I was there. And she is 38 years old. Now, I just want to... Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. But she was in the video holding a $1,900 Louis Vuitton bag, a Goyard tote. She is the head of her marketing firm. This is brilliant marketing. What if this was all a scheme to get attention for a marketing firm? Because this is brilliant marketing. You know what I'm saying? This is what I like to figure out. Like, what's the reason behind these things? Like, why go so viral, almost get arrested, disappear off the face of the earth, come back, now you're the head of a marketing firm? Sus. But we love her. We love her because it was absolutely hilarious. And also conservatives, we all live in this space of, like, nothing is real anymore because nothing is real. The fact that she lives in this affluent neighborhood, she bought her house for over $572,000, according to Daily Mail, in January 2022. She renovated the entire space. This woman has money to play with. Money to play with. You're buying a $500,000 home in Dallas. By the way, in Dallas, marketing or the housing market has gone up, but a $500,000 home in Dallas is ginormous. And she renovated the whole space. I guess her firm, Uppercut Marketing, works with huge clients, national clients or international clients like Xbox, Microsoft, other high profiles. There's a picture of her house in this article if someone wants to pull this up for me. It's a beautiful home. I love that it's black and white. I also love this, like, no windowsill look. I don't know what you call that, but it's a very beautiful white house. It's 4 bedrooms, has a pool, and she was fighting with her family, she says. This is what caused the outburst. She was fighting with her family over AirPods. And so she, like, flipped out and stormed off the plane. I guess, police reports show she had accused a relative of stealing her AirPods before screeching that the plane was not safe and would not make it to its destination. Nowhere in this article does it say that she was inebriated of any kind. Like, it doesn't say she was high. It doesn't say that she was drunk or anything like that. It was just, she just, like, went crazy. So I'm not sure about that. But obviously she screamed, saying that someone on the plane wasn't real. And then afterwards, so TSA arrives at the scene. They do, like, a full rescreening of the aircraft, according to Daily Mail, I guess because they were looking to see if anyone on there was not real. And then when Dallas-Fort Worth Department of Public Safety arrives to the airport, they said that she refused to speak, that she tried to get back on the plane, and then, as fast as she appeared, she was gone. This woman vanished. It literally says she vanished before police tracked her down to a terminal curb where she was waiting for an Uber. They tried to give her a ticket for criminal trespass. She refused to sign it like an absolute boss. She was like, I'm not signing that ish. And then she wasn't arrested and she just left. Now I've seen, I feel like it's been on the internet all over. I don't know if she said this somewhere or somebody else reported this, but that she was on her way to a cruise. And so she went out of the country for like a week or so. And she didn't even know that she was viral the entire time on the cruise. Now I have never been on a cruise and I certainly am never going on one now. There's something about cruises. Those are not real. I don't trust it. I think the submarine ruined me. And there is absolutely no way I'm getting on one of those. It freaks me out, the amount of like kids, TikTok idiots that are like jumping off the rails and getting eaten by sharks and stuff for dares, for TikTok. I just, because I've never been on one and I don't know much about cruises, I assume that you could have Wi-Fi. Like there's no way that in 2023 people are signing up to go on a cruise and they're gone for 7+ days and they have no Wi-Fi the entire time. Like there's no way that's real. They do have Wi-Fi? Okay, so then somebody's lying. There's no way she went on this and didn't know. Like she knew, she chose to lay low, probably because she knew inevitably it was going to bring attention to her marketing firm. Let me look at the chat. Let me see what you guys are saying about cruises. Morgan says, I went on a cruise as a kid, but I would never do it today. Okay, so Adrena says cruises do have Wi-Fi. Someone else says, you have to choose not to have Wi-Fi. You have to pay every day to have Wi-Fi. Okay, so I find it highly suspicious that a woman who lives in a $1.6 million home or whatever it is I just said after her renovation, $2 million home is not paying for Wi-Fi. And you're you had a marketing firm. You're going to be offline. You're going to have no email access. Like, come on, that's BS. Like, there's absolutely no way at all that is possible or true. And I know some people are like, well, I want to take a break. I really want to have I just don't think that it's like physically possible. I don't think people can do it. Like you say that, maybe you'll go 2 days max, but then you're getting back on. Like, cause it's a weird feeling to not be plugged in. I was on a reality dating show in 2016 and they take your phone and I went 5 weeks without ever once checking my phone or having any contact with the outside world. I wasn't allowed to read books. I wasn't allowed to read magazines. I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I wasn't allowed to listen to music. No phone. Didn't call home. Nothing for 5 weeks. That was the weirdest experience of my life. And when I finally came back to civilization, it was just I remember like Kim Kardashian had a kid or something and I didn't know. It was like so much had happened. That was also in the middle of an election year and all these candidates had announced they were running and stuff. And I didn't know anything. It's just a bizarre experience. Okay. Emily says, Alex, I literally watched a cruise ship documentary to calm my fear. They're wild. Cruises are not the vibe. Like, cruises are out. They're so out. And, like, every time I see anything about a cruise in the news, it's like everybody's just, like, pooping and pissing. And, like, they're getting, like, stuck. And then everybody's just, like, living in everyone's poop. Like, you know what I'm talking about? This has been a new thing that's happened. So yeah, I'm not going on there. I just don't believe that that's true, that she didn't know that she had gone viral. But here's the thing. Did she heal America? Because at the same moment that Tiffany Gomas goes viral as the plane lady and all of these men are like simping over her, she's virally being simped after, if that is even a verb. She's been simped. And that's happening, but also at the same time, everybody's saying like you hit the wall at 30 or, 25, past 25, women are not at their prime and all this. But Tiffany Gomas is 38 years old. She's 38 years old and everybody's like proposing to her on Twitter. So did she heal the red pill cancer that we've seen erupt amongst men on the internet that are chronically online? The guys that are in my headphones that are helping me because I have no team, tpusa.com/careers if you want to work for me and help me out. They're saying she didn't heal America, that the red pill cancer is still large and in charge. I also think she could revive The Bachelorette. Just just bear with me. Tiffany Gomas playing Lizard Lady on The Bachelorette. And then whenever somebody wants to accuse somebody else in the cast of not being there for the right reasons, they just point at them and they say, that MFer isn't real. It's genius marketing. Speaking of being a marketing manager or whatever she is, it's genius marketing. That's what The Bachelorette needs. The Bachelorette, the Bachelor franchises, ABC needs to poach some of these viral sensations, make them the lead, because they're on a roll with Golden Bachelorette. So let's do that. Everybody is tuning in to watch that. They're at least watching the first episode, and if you can keep them, you will have them forever. Let's move on. Also, Bud Light should probably hire her since she is a marketing expert, since they fired the other one. Sydney Sweeney, Variety interview. Sydney Sweeney does this Variety interview. Let's pull this up. And they kind of talk about everything. Euphoria, because I think people accuse, because it's like a show with a lot of nudity and sex and drugs and stuff that involves teenagers. People, always accuse the director of being pervy and all this. They ask her about this. Basically every controversy that she's ever had. And she hasn't had much because she really just blew up in the last 2 years. So the interview is called Sydney Sweeney Takes Control, the Euphoria star on feeling beat up by online rumors and proving people wrong in her producer era. She was also on that show Reality about that, what the heck was that? Like a WikiLeaks whistleblower. What was that person? And I don't even know. Was that person trans or something? Because the name Reality winner always throws me off. I don't understand what that is. Anyway, she did that show. And it wasn't good, or it was a movie or something on HBO, I think, and it sucked. So don't watch that. But, oh, yes, she played the real-life National Security Agency whistleblower Reality winner on HBO. And, yeah, I don't recommend that. But, everybody likes Euphoria. I'm not into Euphoria. Something about the pace is, a little too boring for me. I just haven't been able to get into it. I don't know. I'm not going to say never, but I just haven't been able to yet. Love the pictures. It's giving kind of 70s vibes. She always looks great. I love that her whole body is natural, and it's just, she's refreshingly perfect looking. And I just think that's fun. Love the outfits, a lot of platform heels going on. Some people said they didn't like the pictures. I was looking on Twitter, and a lot of people were like, I hated this photo shoot. I don't know. I think it's fun. I don't always love a white background. I think that's a little tired. But I like it. I always like looking at what she's wearing, makeup looks, hair looks. You can pretty much convince me to do anything that Sydney Sweeney is doing. I'm a big fan. Now, the two juiciest parts of this interview that I wanted to bring up were her being asked about her family's political scandal. So if you remember, her mom turned 60. She went home, and where does she live? Idaho or something? She lives somewhere like that. One of the square states. One of the square states that looks like all the other states. It's all a blur to me, that part of the United States. Anyway, she goes home, and it was everybody's wearing red hats that said "Make 60 Great Again." It didn't say "Make America Great Again," but since it said "Make 60 Great Again," everybody was like, "Trump!" People couldn't get over it. You know what I mean? It was just everybody pooped their pants collectively at the same time and accused her of being conservative. And now all of a sudden she's racist because her parents were, or not her parents, but people in the photos. It was also in the background. It wasn't like she posed with these people. In the background of her mom's birthday pictures that she posted to Instagram, people had these Make 60 Great Again hats on. And so she got a lot of hate for this. It was a huge thing. Is she conservative? Is she not? She didn't really apologize for it, which led people to believe that, again, that she was conservative because she wasn't being I disavow, blah, blah, blah. But in this new interview, when she was asked about it by Variety, she said there were so many misinterpretations surrounding the photos. She said the people in the pictures weren't even my family. The people who brought the things, she wouldn't even say it. The people who brought the things that people were upset about were actually my mom's friends from LA, ironic, who have kids that are walking outside in the Pride Parade, and they thought it would be funny to wear because they were coming to Idaho. Okay, so it is Idaho. She said people are so fast to build someone up, and then they love tearing them down. So she's not saying my family or I am or am not conservative, but she is saying that the people who wore the hats were not her family members. They were friends of family. And she's insinuating that they're all libs and they have kids who are in pride parades. Now, just to really be fair and PC, you could be a conservative yourself and have a lib TikToked kid who goes in a pride parade. I mean, what she's saying could technically be true, and those people that did the, make 60 grading in hats are conservative themselves. But she isn't saying that. So again, this is like a very interesting way to phrase and talk about this scandal, because she's not saying yes or no to my family is conservative, but she is saying, look, this is very misinterpreted. I like her. Again, she hasn't said, she easily could say, I wouldn't be caught dead. I would disavow my family if they were all conservative. You know what I mean? No one in my family voted for Trump. We would never. She didn't say anything like that, which I think a lot of celebrities would kind of go that route to really hammer it in that they're not conservative. So I thought that was interesting. The other part of the interview that I wanted to bring up to you, which I thought was great, is talking about motherhood. So this quote I thought was really neat. She said, I always thought that I'd have a kid by now. I always wanted to be a young mom. I love acting. I love the business. I love producing. I love all of it. But what's the point if I'm not going to share it with a family? Incredibly based. Sydney Sweeney based. No cap. She's so right. And this is what I feel like there's a vibe shift. There's a vibe shift happening in Hollywood. We're seeing a lot more young women who seem to me to be rejecting the girl boss mentality and ideology and livelihood that the millennials created. And this is typical. Every generation, they kind of revolt and go against whatever the previous generation set up. And for millennials, we told women, and we were told, because I'm a young millennial, but we were told that like girl boss was the way to go, career first, family second. You have to build a career because you can't count on anybody. Don't rely on anybody. Your 20s and your 30s are for career building. Later, late 30s, 40s even, that's when you can start thinking about a family if you want it. But if you don't, it's fine. Do you? All of that kind of stuff. Like heavily marketed narcissism with a spin. That's what millennials were doling out. And now you have Gen Z and you have people like Sydney Sweeney saying, I'm 25 years old and my career's kind of taken off. I thought like when before I ever became famous, I figured I would be married by now. I figured I would have children by now. And all of this is great. I love the fame and fortune. I love how I'm like one of the biggest TV stars at the moment. But what is the point of all of this if I don't have a family to share it with? Sydney Sweeney for president. That's what I'm going to say. And, it usually takes a lot of years and wisdom to kind of come to that conclusion because it's true. All of the money in the world and all of that doesn't matter when you're old. It doesn't matter when you're old and it's like, then what? She's not going to have her looks forever. She's not going to have the money forever. You know what I mean? You're not going to keep this height, this level of fame for forever. That's very rare that happens. You know what I mean? That's the Taylor Swifts of the world, the Michael Jacksons of the world. Even Mariah Carey fell off. Britney Spears fell off. I saw House and Habit did a poll yesterday. And she was talking about, who is truly the bigger pop star? Is it Britney or Taylor Swift? And everybody, because I think her audience is largely millennials and Gen X, everybody was voting Britney Spears. And I'm like, well, that's just not true. It's factually not true. Taylor Swift is the 6th biggest pop star in the world now. She's surpassed by a landslide album sales compared to Britney Spears and all of that kind of stuff. Her tour, I mean, she's about to become a billionaire during this tour. So Taylor Swift is the bigger pop star. You just don't think of it. But that stuff always fades away. It's so rare. Even, Madonna or whatever, like she's still alive, but like nobody cares about Madonna anymore. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that that kind of celebrity is going to fade. And so for Sydney to say this, where her audience and her followers are majority Gen Z in the next generation, is so huge. And so what's kind of funny is that, some of the Gen Z leftists were then commenting under articles about her talking about motherhood in this way in like a positive light. And they were saying like, ooh, well, your right-wing views are jumping out. Your conservatism is jumping out. See, this proves she is conservative because I guess, people having a favorable view on motherhood now is right-wing. To want to be a mother and have a family is now right-wing. Also, to be fit is right-wing. To be in shape is right-wing. To go camping is right-wing. You think I'm making this up? Bird watching is right-wing. There's articles for all of this. Basically, anything except being like fat and mentally ill is right-wing. If those are the two options that I have, I will gladly be right-wing. And wouldn't anybody? Hey, I don't think, and also, I have like a fleck of mascara that fell in my eye, I think. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that. But absolutely base Sydney Sweeney. We love her. We support her. And I don't know. All good things. Okay, some of your comments. Alexa said it's so weird how those people literally hate children. It's true. Like, they want to cut off their genitalia. They're desperate to do it. They loathe them. They don't want them to have, don't have a family and all this. Like, it's just crazy. You would think, like, if you loved your ideology so much, you would want to have the next generation and, like, raise a bunch of activists. But they, like, don't even care, which is fine. Like, more for us. Again, mascara in my eye. Okay. Let's get to, oh, my God, now my nose is running. I'm not doing cocaine on the podcast. Okay. Campbell Soup has bought RAOS. I don't know how to pronounce this. Soup and pasta sauce brand. RAOS. How do you pronounce it? I always say like RAOS in my head when I see it at the store. But Campbell Soup has bought them, and you're like, who cares about this? I'm going to tell you why you should care about this, because this is a big food. This is another win for big food, and it's an L for us. It's an L for absolutely everybody else. Excuse me, with the nose. And they bought them for $2.3 billion. $2.33 billion in cash. Wow, I didn't see that part. So Campbell Soup bought this RAOS brand. They make really, really clean, and I don't know if clean's the right way to say it, but like organic, whole soups and pasta sauces. And you can get them at any store, like Whole Foods, yes, but also I'm pretty sure you can get them anywhere, Walmart or whatever. And I mean, what's great about this brand, RAOS, like if you look at the ingredients on their stuff, whole tomatoes, olive oil, garlic, salt and pepper, like that's it. And that's, like this is like good stuff if you need a pasta sauce or you need a soup. And it's also what I love, it all comes in glass jars, even the soups, which we love that. Like no plastic, no aluminum. And so that's fantastic. And if you look at a Campbell's soup can, you get, vegetable oil, corn syrup, natural flavors, vegetables that are dehydrated. So they're not even like real vegetables. It's like fake vegetables or like crap ones. It's totally zapped of nutrients. Honestly, like it's hilarious that we all grew up eating Campbell's soup when we were sick, because Campbell's chicken noodle soup is like one of the worst things that you could eat. And it's important to talk about this because this RAOS brand, one of the only like true clean food brands left, and we don't have many of them. And what you have to understand, and I've talked about this extensively on my podcast, The Spillover, is that big food is made up of about like 5 or 6 companies total. And I have a chart of this. If you've never seen this before, it'll blow your mind. Big food is coming for every single clean and wholesome food brand that exists. They see how much money, because all of a sudden everybody's in their health and wellness era. They see how much money these types of brands are making as opposed to like your traditional Campbell Soup. And they're like, okay, well, we can't let that happen anymore. We're losing money. So what you're seeing is all of these like mom and pop health food brands are selling out to the big food brands. And it's actually very disturbing. And you have to understand that food buyouts like this, they ruin quality. They also ruin safety. And that's something that every single person in America should care about, especially those of you who are feeding your families. I think, and if you have, there's like a chart. There's a chart of like how big food owns everything. And there's only like a couple companies that every single brand that you see in the grocery store is owned by like one of these brands, like literally every single one. So if you look at this chart, you see we got Nestle, we've got Coca-Cola, Mars, Kellogg's, General Mills, everything, PepsiCo, all of those little brands on the sides. And there's more than this because I think this chart came out in like 2018 or something. Now it's even expanded. But now you can add this RAOS brand to it. And I'm just going to tell you right now, giving all of our food to only a handful of companies is a horrific idea. And we're seeing the outcome of this every single day. We are seeing obesity rates rise, people's health declining, and it's because we have done this. I will say people asking in the chat, well, like, what else do you recommend now? Like, first of all, it always takes a little bit. Little Lady Cook says, what did she say about RAOS? I missed it. RAOS was bought out by Campbell's. So Campbell's is now taking over, and it's not going to, there's no way it's going to be the healthy brand that you know and love. There's a chocolate brand that just got bought out as well by Hershey, I think. It starts with an L. Is it Lucy, Lacey, Lily's chocolate or something like that? But it was like a really good chocolate brand that didn't have any crap in it. And then that just got bought out by Hershey's, I think, too. One of you will know. No, it starts with an L. It starts with an L. It has a flower on the label. I think it's Lily's or something like that. But anyway, you're starting to see all the clean brands get bought out. So we're not going to have very many options left. So what I was going to, it's Lily's chocolate. Lily's chocolate is one that just got bought out. So their ingredients haven't changed yet. And I believe they just got bought out like a year ago or something. It takes time. It's not going to be overnight. You know what I mean? You have to get rid of all the things that are like in production now and that are on store shelves. Then those move out and then you get the new products in. So it's going to be it's going to be a minute till you can see, what they're going to do to the ingredients. But just so you know, soup, I don't know what we're going to do. But pasta sauce, the Carbone restaurant, brand company, they make a great pasta sauce. So I recommend that. And I know I see that at Whole Foods. So you can get that. Oh my gosh, wait. Somebody just said this is just like Primal Kitchen and Bragg's. Was Primal Kitchen bought? Don't tell me Primal Kitchen was bought out. I will absolutely go feral. I will go feral. Primal Kitchen is one of the best, like, salad dressing brands, steak sauce that has no seed oils or crap in it. They were bought by Kraft. This is a revolution. You and I, we're starting our freaking gardens, and we're going. You know what we're doing? We are going to start exclusively shopping at farmers markets. This is the only way. We're supporting small farms, and we're going to our local farmers markets, and we're buying local because there is no other frickin' option. There is no other option. I hate everything. I'm depressed. This is depression. Okay, Lizzo. Ooh, I'm hitting my hour mark. Sorry, did I take too long today? I wasn't rushing enough. I wasn't going fast enough. All right, we'll wrap up here. This is the last story. Lizzo updates. It's getting worse for her. She issued, this was last week, but I didn't mention it in the last live. So Lizzo did offer up an apology, but it was like a non-apology. So let's pull this up. 6 more people have now accused her of, horrific work environment allegations, whatever. Lawyers for ex-Lizzo dancers say they are reviewing more complaints in wake of lawsuit. New allegations from at least 6 people who said that they toured with Lizzo, including other dancers and some who say they worked on her Amazon Studios reality show. Watch out for the big girls. Yeah, watch out for the big girls, Lizzo, because just as bad as you are, they're going to be even worse. Now, the allegations are interesting because someone is accusing her. There's 6 of them, but 2 of them. One of them is they're accusing her of withholding pay, and then the other person is accusing her of simulating sex acts on bananas. Again with the bananas. Keep the fruit baskets away from this person. Lizzo is on the prowl for your fruit, and she's going to violate your bananas. She will find them wherever they are, worldwide. It's just getting worse, and when you read all the woke pop culture Twitter sphere comments, like everybody's like, she's over. Somebody said send Biggie to jail, and they're also just like roasting her. They're roasting her for her weight, which is like a cardinal sin they would never do, but they're doing it because they see her now as a hypocrite, and that's why everybody's like, it really is over for her, because her, like I said last week, her whole brand built on wokeness, built on being progressive, all inclusive, and then it's coming out, allegedly she's nothing at all like that. And so she released a statement, her apology, which I'm saying in quotes. I'm going to pull that up because this is a joke. She says, well, I'm not a villain, and she didn't deny anything. So she said, usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are so unbelievable and they're too outrageous not to be addressed. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. As an artist, I've always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards. I'm not here to be looked at as a victim, but I know that I am not the villain that people in the media have portrayed me to be the last few days. She also says, I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something that I am not. And she said, I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis, so I would never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. Obviously, everybody is saying that that's not true. I also find it a little stupid and ironic, the people saying well, it was a super sexually charged work environment. Again, what did you expect? What did you expect, listening to her music or whatever? Of course it's going to be that way. That's her entire personality, every interview she's ever done, every song she's ever released. That's who she is. So there's a little bit there that her lawyers can play with, because they can be like, you cannot say that you had no idea that she was like this, because you can't. So I think that that's a joke. And I guess the question is, are the allegations legit, or is this kind of another Me Too situation where one person maybe had a truthful accusation and what they said was true, but then all these other people coming out of the woodwork, they're like, ooh, a lawsuit, I'm going to jump in on this. There might be some money to be made. Do you think it's true, or do you think it's a Me Too pile-on? Let's see what you guys have to say. I know that Candace Owens thinks it's kind of like a Me Too situation. I think I need to see more. And it's also by the way, Lizzo could make this go away at any moment by doing a payout. You could pay out these people and be like, look, okay, just stop talking about it. I'll make this all go away. How much do you want? Let's move on. She could do that, but she's not doing it. So that's kind of stupid to me on her part, because we could make this all go away overnight, but she's not spending the money. And that makes me think ooh, because it's really bad. And there's you can't pay it out. Or these people want to drag it to court because it is so bad that they're I'll get even more money. I don't know. Ashley thinks it's 100% true. Liz thinks, I think it's another Me Too, but it is all true. So meaning it's true. And Tara says it's probably both as well. So, they're all true, but because one person was finally I'll be the whistleblower, or I'll say something, then everybody's okay, it's safe. I'm going to say something now too. So we'll see. Time will tell. All right. So those are the stories for today. Spillover comes out tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, I keep doing this. 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. And this week we are talking to a certified prenatal and postpartum dietitian. Prenatal and postpartum dietitian. So she's going to talk all about the truth about what you really can eat or can't eat while you're pregnant, before the baby comes, after the baby comes. We also get into a little bit about feeding your kid. When do you start solids? What is there a better food to do as your first solid? All of that kind of stuff. So we get into that, and she's a huge person on Instagram. So if you are a mom, there's a very high chance that you follow her. So it's a very big guest, and I think you're going to be excited. It's definitely a very informational episode. It's like a notebooker. Like you want to have your notebook out and you want to be writing stuff down. She's also like Dr. Courtney Kayla is a huge fan of this woman. So that gives you a little bit there. So that's to look forward to this week on the spillover. Now, I also want to talk about, so what we're going to do about this live. So I said at the beginning, but I'm going to say it again for those that just came on. It went so well last week. And so I thought, like, I want to do it again. I want to try it again. If we can keep the momentum going, if you guys keep showing up, if it grows. Now, if it stays the same, it probably won't last very long. But if it grows every week and you guys are sharing it and telling people to go watch it even after it's live, then it's definitely something that I would like to keep doing every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I have a lot of fun doing this. So I would like to keep doing it. This week was like it's like an okay news week. Last week was huge. So this week, it's all right. And what? Oh, yeah, no pun intended with Lizzo being huge. Last week was huge with the Lizzo story. This week is all right. You never know what the week is going to give us. You always got to ask the pop culture gods to send their best. But we do what we can. And, plan your girl dinner. Plan your girl dinner of goldfish and wine or whatever it is that you like to have in the bath. Or, put this on while you're making dinner for your family. We can all hang out together. We can make it a weekly Wednesday little ritual, which I think is super fun. And so 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, let me know if you like this time. I don't know what the majority of you, I don't know what time zone the majority of you are in. So if that's a good time for you, let me know. Make sure that you're subscribed to Real Alex Clark on YouTube. Guys, this is like a huge initiative from my bosses. This is the reason for all of the changes. This is the reason for the lives, for the shorts that I've been making, all of this. Like, of course, like you guys are like, is it a strategy? Like, of course it's a strategy. Of course, like this is what's popping off online right now is doing shorts and all that kind of stuff, and people like these bite-sized things. So that's what we're putting out. And then we're also doing these incredible long-form, like documentary-style productions. So yesterday, we posted an entire episode, like what science says about your body count and how your body count can determine the success of your marriage. It's very, very interesting. There's actually been a lot of studies on this, comparing couples that go into a marriage with high body counts versus couples that go into marriage with low body counts or no body counts. And so I explore this. It's like a mini documentary. I also go into how Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy built her entire brand and following on telling women to rack up as high of body counts as possible. And then as soon as she gets big enough that she's able to sign a $60 million deal with Spotify, she pivots and leaves the entire brand in the dust. And then now all of a sudden she's making new content and she's engaged. So why the pivot? And so I explore that in this video. That's it's like a body count, what science says about your body count or something like that. But that's like one of the news videos on Real Alex Clark on YouTube. So again, make sure you subscribe, like this video, thumbs it up before you log off today or whenever you're watching, please, because that really helps. And then turn on the notification bell so that you know when we're posting, you're aware, and then mark in your calendar weekly, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll give this a shot. We'll give POPlitics Live a shot for the next couple of weeks. And a couple more of your comments. Oh, a lot of you want my theory on Taylor Swift announcing 1989 Taylor's version tonight. I think it is highly possible because today is 8/9 and 1989. And so the first U.S. leg of her tour is wrapping up tonight. I think it's exciting. Now, some people think she's going to just drop the whole album, like it's a surprise. Some people think it's an announcement. I tend to think it's an announcement, but we'll see. So I will be scouring the TikTok for that tonight. And yeah, let me know your time zone and all that kind of stuff. The live chat usually appears on the video once it's posted after a couple minutes. So you'll get to go back and you can watch all of the people that were commenting during the live chat. So anyway, this was POPlitics Live, pop culture without the propaganda. We'll do Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you like that time, I'm Alex Clark. Thank you. Subscribe. I'll see you next week.